Welcome to the HIVETIRE video tutorial. This time we are going to review how to register a tyre or wheel purchase within the system. Being in our account, in the system we have 4 work modules. Since we are going to register a tyre purchase, we go to the tyre module, and if you look at the second option, we have the purchase registration. If I select this option, the first thing it shows me is all the purchases we have already registered. For example, if I select one of these that has already been registered, I will have all the information, such as where the purchase was made, which supplier, the document number, the details of what was purchased, with its value, etc. And we can also, here in View Details, check which numbers were assigned to these 10 purchased tyres. I am going to press back. Where do I make a new registration? If you look at the top right, I have a button that says Add. If I select it, I have here an initial form that I must complete. For example, terminal. Where were these tyres purchased? Where did these tyres arrive? Let's think in Maipu. Then the second selector is for the supplier from whom I bought these tyres. Let's select Supermercado del Pneumatico. Then the type of document. If these tyres arrived with a guide, we select Guide. If they arrived with an invoice, we select Invoice. Type of document, the number of this document, invoice or guide, and the date of this. Let's select 25th of June. Now, here in Cancel, we are not going to select because we are not going to proceed through there, but we are going to press this button that says Start Tyre Entry. If I select it, it shows us the information we have already registered or selected, and we have Discard. We are not going to proceed through there. Confirm. There is nothing to confirm yet, since there are no details have been created. So what we have to do is select this button to add detail and continue with the registration. Here the initial form asks me, what is the identifier of the batch number? Is the identification of these tyres going to be sequential or personalized? If I select sequential, it means that I will provide an initial number, and the system will understand that if there are 10 numbers, it will start from that initial number, adding 1. For example, if I start with 100, it will have 100, 101, 102, 103, and so on until it uses up the 10 numbers. In the case of personalized, if I have the purchase of 5 tyres, I have to fill those 5 fields with the batch or burn number. Let's review it. Let's start with a sequential purchase. Then it shows me what type of tyres you are buying. Here in the selector, we must say, are they first stage tyres originals, or are we buying retreaded tyres? Let's see in this sequential option first stage tyres, and then we will review the retreaded ones. For first stage tyres, I have to select the purchase status, whether it is new or used. Most of the time, we buy new tyres, 0 kilometers. Tyre model. Within our tables, we select which model we are buying. For example, let's select these Kumho KFD 04C 1122 5. Origin. Very important. The origin, as it allows us to know where they were manufactured, to see if we have any difference in performance between the origin of one country and another. Number of tyres we are registering that arrived. In this case, let's think we received 5 Kumho KFD 0 4C11 Arba 22 5 tyres. Then we have to state the total value of this group. In this case, we will enter 1 million Chilean pesos. Here there is a checkbox. What does this checkbox allow me to do? If I do not select it, I am saying that this value I am entering here for these 5 tyres is not a special offer. Therefore, in the tyre table of tyre type, brand, model, size, which has a value, it will replace it with the current value I am buying. Why? Because it is not a special offer value. Now, if for some reason our suppliers gave us a discount and it is not the real value of that type of tyre, or the one we normally have, we will indicate that it is a special offer and it will not update the tyre type table of the system. In this case, we are not going to select it, and once the entire form is completed, we press here to accept. And it writes the first line of detail of this purchase: the Kumho, Brazilian origin, number of tyres, and their values, both unitary and the total of the group. If I made a mistake, I can delete the detail here, and it will obviously be deleted and we would have to enter it again. So I will press cancel. Now let's see an entry of personalised and retreaded tyres. Let's press add again. We can add different details because in one invoice, we can enter different models of tyres. So we will do it with these two selectors differently from how we did it here. In this case, personalised and the type of tyre, when I select that it is retreaded, the form has small differences. For example, in addition to stating the purchase status, which in this case would be the purchase status of the band, if a retreaded tyre arrives, it could be recognised as used. The casing, in this case, is new because the band is 0 kilometres. Therefore, the system must consider it as not having rolled any kilometre and start the kilometre count of that retreaded band as new. Here we have casing model and tyre model. In this sense, we have to select the casing and the retread band model that this casing is using. We have to select both casing and band. The stage, generally when we buy retreaded tyres, they are stage R1. In the case of a second retreading, a third retreading, we have to move down and select the appropriate one. R1. Origin. As I was telling you, the origin in this case of the band, that's what we are going to study. The origin of the retread band, what origin it has, the number of tyres entering with that casing and that model in this invoice, and then the value. Let's select the value here, and let's accept. With this, we entered an original or first stage sequential and a personalised retreaded one. Once we finish adding the details, if you have more details, you must continue filling in the new items. And once we finish, now we can proceed to confirm the entry. If we press here Confirm, it shows us a message that this action cannot be reversed. Confirm the entry, we accept, and we already enter here a record that we must initialize. Here we have the first group of tyres and it tells me here to initialize. There is a button for each of the groups. As I was telling you, this was entered sequentially. Therefore, when pressing the button, it will ask for an initial number and also a prefix. The prefix is only for companies that have more than one sequence within the company. If the transport company has only one unique sequence for all bases, just enter the initial number and leave the prefix blank. As it says, it is optional. I will enter the initial number, which in this case will be 100, and only the initial, because as we said it was sequential. When accepting, being 5 tyres, the system takes here 100, 101, 102, up to 104. There are the 5 numbers identified sequentially, only entering the initial. The difference with the personalised is that If I press here to initialize, as they are all different and not sequential, I have to enter all the numbers that are entering. Here, if you look, they are not sequential. I entered 105, 107, 109 and press here to accept, and the tyres have already been identified. They already have their burn number ready. Here are all the purchases initialized, tyres identified, and if I want to review the detail, I can click here on View Detail. I have the 5 tyres I entered as sequential and also the 3 retreaded tyres with their non-sequential numbers. That's how the registration is done. If I go back to the list, I have here the purchase we just made, registered.